Hi, my name is Brooke Williford, and I'm going to be explaining my LabVIEW VI for the extra credit Coke machine. So on my screen, I have the front panel for part one. I have a quarter, dime, nickel, and return change button, along with money entered and change returned indicators, and then a status message indicator. And on my block diagram, it uses a state machine structure. The while loop keeps the program running. The enum chooses the current state, and the case structure runs the logic for that state. So here are my different states in my enum. Um, and then I have shift registers, a current state shift register, and a money shift register to store values. So my initialize state is here. And then I have a wait for event state that checks which button the user pressed and then decides the next state. Quarter counted state uses the math like 25 cents. And if it's greater than or equal to 50, because that's how much Coke costs. Same idea for dime, except 10 cents, and then nickel, 5 cents. The return change returns the appropriate amount of change, whether it's zero or whatever. It depends on whatever the user inserts. Coke product has a status message, Coke dispensed, and then it um, has a zero for money out, and then the finished state. So that's my part one. Part two, slightly more complicated. Have Coke or Fanta that can be selected, buttons for those. Then I have a quarter dime nickel button again, and then this one I have a purchase or cancel button. And then still the same indicators, but I also have a selected drink indicator. For the block diagram, it's the same idea, except I have different states to account for the Fanta product. And I also have a third shift register for the drink selection, so it'll store what drink the user selected. And then just all of the cases are slightly more complicated, but they still have the same kind of idea, like you add 5 to the money if a nickel is inserted. Um, and purchase, I added a nested case structure that will also tell the user or tell the user that there's insufficient funds, or it'll say processing transaction if enough money was entered for the certain product. And yeah, and here's the, I'm gonna do a little demo of each one. So part one, it says insert coin. So let's say we insert 2 quarters. It'll automatically say Coke dispensed, change return to 0. However, if I enter 2 or 1 quarter and 3 dimes, it says change returned is 5 cents, and then it'll say Coke dispensed. For the part two demonstration, it said machine ready. So say I want a Coke. I can click 2 quarters again. However, it doesn't automatically dispense the Coke. The user has to click either purchase or cancel. Purchase, it said Coke dispensed, and then it says waiting for the next transaction, pretty much. Say we want a Fanta, but we only put 50 cents in. If we do that, it'll say purchase, but it'll say insufficient funds because a Fanta costs 55 cents. Now, if we try to do cancel, because we don't have enough money for that, it'll say transaction canceled, and it said change returned 50 cents because that's how much we put in. And that pretty much covers it.